Here we go. It's time for Atangana, the show. Welcome everybody from New York City, the 14th floor. It's a Sushi, the Dangerous Blonde Diana and Hugo Savinovich, to bring you 30 minutes of the best reporting in the world of professional wrestling. So we are just about to start. The first NXT show airing on the USA Network just finished. Was 55 minutes. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. If you are living in this part of the world and you just finished watching the edition of NXT on USA Network, let us know how you liked the first show. This is Hugo Savinovich in Sportskeeda exclusive English version of Tangana the Show with Lucha Libre Online. My name is Hugo Savinovich. For over 70 years, I was a Spanish announcer with WWE. I was also a producer of the WWF Super Astros and made my living out of doing the play-by-play. 17 years and helping with international markets, with the new announcers, with the production. And I have done Lucha Underground, the first season in Spanish. I've done pay-per-views, some production for AAA in Mexico, opened up some wrestling companies in South America. Right now, we just finished doing the Kings of Lucha in New York City. And my next production will be in Orlando, Florida, to be precise, in Kissimmee, Florida, at the Firefrog Stadium, February 24th. NJPW presents Alberto Del Rio, Alberto El Patron in action, Badass Billy Gunn, Carlito Caribbean Cool, and many more. That's my next production. And we welcome our fans to Sportskeeda, the Sportskeeda Wrestling, which was one of the sponsors of the Super Show in India. And we have to start by commenting about it. It was a good show. What I was not happy and I was not impressed with Triple H defeating Jinder Mahal, as I believe the importance of this market, over 1 billion fans, and how can you go to raise more the appetite of wrestling when you as an American go and defeat Indian descent in right in his home country, and when fans know and was covered in Sportskeeda that in the show in Dubai, Roman Reigns defeated Triple H for the Intercontinental Championship. So in one part of the world, another country, you defeat in India a man that you yourself said, Triple H, that he was the future of the WWE, and yet in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, I'm sorry, in Dubai, you are pinned by Roman Reigns. So anyway, that was one of the first news right here in Sportskeeda and Lucha Libre Online, and we have a lot to talk about. One of the comments, Diana, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson is immortalized, the
Hollywood Walk of Fame.
The Hollywood Walk of Fame, one of our people, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, immortalized. His hands are there. He's a huge star, wrestling and in Hollywood, and we are so happy about that occurrence. So we are very, very happy about that. Let's go with some of the comments of the fans. My wife, the Dangerous Blonde Diana, right? She's not with us right here, but she will be telling us the comments from the fans. Here we go. Atangana the Show, English version, exclusively for Sportskeeda viewers, Sportskeeda Wrestling and Lucha Libre Online. Okay, Diana.
Pierre Lunding says Shane is going heel, right? Boris Arutyunov says NXT was NXT amazing.
Amazing. Okay, I like that.
Justin Lewis Fleming says NXT was good.
Okay, so 2 in a row. Good for NXT.
Lawana White says hello, and Martinez Guadalupe says that was the only one night on USA. Wow.
In other words, 3 in a row. They're talking better about NXT than Raw and SmackDown. Welcome to this show. This is the English version of Atangana the Show with the Dangerous Blonde, my wife, Diana Savinovich, and my name is Hugo Savinovich, and we're going to bring you some of the news around the world. And let's go with more comments, and then we're going to talk about the Jericho Omega clash at January 4th, I believe, in Wrestle Kingdom 12. Let's go with more comments, Diana.
Ken Smith says that Sammy and KO are going to win the match because they're gotta buy to be in another wrestling scene for WWE on January the 13th. But anyway, Sammy and KO will be winning the match.
All right, so the fans are tuning in. Let's go with more comments.
Here, no more comments are on here.
All right, so let's talk about the Jericho Omega. What a storyline from the attack of Jericho on Omega to the follow-up at the press conference. There's no doubt about it. Even though this happened at hours in this side of the world, United States, it happened around 4 a.m. It just shook the foundation of the social media world. Everybody was talking about it. Jericho, indeed, a master of developing this story for Wrestle Kingdom. The initial attack, beating up, opening up a wound on Kenny Omega, and then the press conference where Omega fights back over Jericho, and then from the reaction after Omega is taken out of the press conference room, we see the majestic, intellectual, passionate style of Jericho as he is addressing the people from the press, and even goes to one of them and says, write this down. And this, after this date, Wrestle Kingdom, there will be no more Omega. So to me, it's that storyline much better produced than anything recently produced by WWE. So Wrestle Kingdom has really gotten a push, and for Vince, fortunately, that the fans are overwhelming, expecting the storyline of Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, the world of walking or broken, and that has stirred up a lot of passions. So we're looking forward to that. We already mentioned about the Jericho storyline, and we're going to talk about more of the things that have happened in the world of professional wrestling. Lucha Underground announcing the 4th season. Now they have speed up the dates for the recording of the 4th season. Now it's going to be by the end of February 24th, looking to get a place to build the temple. A Lucha Underground 4th season. It will start taping around February. Let's go with some comments, Diana.
Stephen Scott Williams says, I love the Omega Jericho setup. The last weekend during the conference was one of Jericho's greats in a long time.
Wow, very good comments. If any of you fans in this side of the world have just finished watching the first edition of NXT on USA, we would like to hear your comments. If you are watching us right now from India and other parts, you could ask about anything about wrestling. We're here to just talk about wrestling. Any wrestling company, including obviously WWE. We go with more comments, Diane.
Anthony Key says Omega just made the list. And Jason Schofield says Omega will destroy the Alpha.
Well, it's going to be a heck of a match, and hopefully we could cover it for Sportskeeda. We're going to do our best with my partner, Lucha Libre Online, Javier Gonzalez, as we are going to be doing some of the reporting. We're going to talk to our people in Sportskeeda to see if we could do English reporting and then do the Spanish for Lucha Libre Online. It's going to be an amazing show. Tokyo Dome, when I was a wrestler, and Giant Baba was the owner back then of New Japan Pro Wrestling, selling out the Tokyo Dome. I had wrestling in front of 40,000 people. Wrestling was so hot in Japan, and we are so happy that it's coming back. And as a matter of fact, we have news here. Triple H, in an interview with CBS Sports, a big network, CBS Sports here in the United States, talking about the Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega Wrestle Kingdom 12th match. Triple H said about Chris, he is tremendous. This is great for Chris and for Kenny and for Japan and for everybody involved in this matchup and storyline. And he said previously, Jericho, before signing this contract, he talked to us. In other words, he talked to WWE about the agreement. And Triple H says Chris Jericho is one of the best talents in the history of our sports. It will be a great match. He said it will be an excellent match. I have to recognize that they have a good product. Speaking about New Japan Pro Wrestling, Triple H, I am very happy for Chris and everybody involved, and to be able to have this happen. That was the comments from Triple H on CBS Sports. Let's go with more comments, Diana.
Okay, Thomas Sanchez says, hello from Pensacola.
Pensacola in the house.
Says, hey, that Adam Cole match with Black was better than anything I've seen lately in WWE. My first time watching NXT. And Billy Sherman says, Aleister Black, that was a crazy match until he hit the black mask.
But I'm very happy. I'm hearing good comments, and this is very good. And remember that the show that we do in Spanish and this one, an office like WWE and the other companies will pay attention to your comments. More important than what I say or Diana says is what you guys say, because you are the power behind the success of wrestling and anywhere in the world. If fans do not, respond to the TV shows or the wrestling events, we cannot do it without you guys. So if you are in the Florida area in Kissimmee, remember the saga continues. My production of Lucha Conquest 2 with Alberto Del Rio, Carlito Caribbean Cool, Badass Billy Gunn, and many more. And we will have more information as it gets closer to February 24th. That saga continues. It's my production for NJPW, and it's Lucha Conquest 2. Let's go with more comments, Diana.
Ahmad wants to know, where is Brock Lesnar?
Brock Lesnar, as you know, the contract is not full-time, so unless Vince pays him more for appearances, he will have to oblige by the contract he already has. But I still believe that Brock Lesnar is 100% what WWE needs. He's got the street credit, he's got the UFC credit, he's got the All-American background, and he's got fans in WWE. This guy is for real. He is Suplex City, one of the best athletes ever, and he brings prestige. He brings everything. Every match he will give you 100%. And then if you talk about production, having Paul Heyman next to him, forget about it.
Anthony Key says, hello from Danville, Kentucky.
Kentucky in the house. Thank you for being with us.
Joel Jesus Fernandez says, NXT. Oh, Skylar Sloan says, hello from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin in the house.
Hector Santiago says, Adam Cole, baby.
Adam Cole is building a tremendous fan base. And let's not forget, Diana, that WWE announced that some of the wrestlers or talents that will be after on 2018. WWE would love to have Rey Mysterio back and Batista. Obviously, everybody's talking about Walken, and Daniel Bryan will be the special referee this Sunday at Clash of Champions. And Roman Reigns, in an interview for the Times of India, India, he said that he felt it was more satisfying or gratifying to beat John Cena than to defeat The Undertaker. He says he felt better defeating John Cena than to defeat The Undertaker. Obviously, to beat The Undertaker in the main event of WrestleMania 33, it's more important. But for me, said Roman Reigns, it was more of a satisfaction to defeat John Cena. And a lot of The Undertaker fans are very upset because The Undertaker, put him on the map. He basically retired after being defeated by Roman Reigns at the past WrestleMania 33. What are your comments about that? And let's go with more comments, Diana.
Brandon Colaprieto says, hello from Warren, Ohio. He says that Chris Jericho is going to win. Billy Sherman says, hello from Dayton, Ohio. He says that he went to SmackDown Live last night in Cincinnati and that it was awesome. Okay, so somebody went to see SmackDown in Cincinnati, and a good report, because as we did the SmackDown report in Spanish, we did not get that on this side of TV, what you're telling us, but we do respect your comments. Obviously, Raw and SmackDown were very shaky at best with the creative
stuff they did. Let's go with more comments, Diana.
Stephen Scott Williams says, hello from Findlay, Ohio. A lot of people from Ohio.
Ohio in the house.
Says, I want Jericho to run over Omega, but probably it's Omega's time to shine.
Wow, whatever happens in that Wrestle Kingdom 12 match, if any indication is what we have seen in the production leading to this match of Omega and Jericho, I've been in this business. I did 20 years as a wrestler, a manager of stars like Bruiser Brody, Abdullah the Butcher. I was a top producer in the Caribbean, including Puerto Rico, for 15 years, 70 years with WWE and many other companies that I have helped to build. And I have that feeling that there is something special that is going to happen with that Wrestle Kingdom main event, even though it's not scheduled like the main event. But to me, that is the main event, Jericho against Omega. You have the opportunity. It will probably be like this time zone. It will be like 4 o'clock in the morning for us here in the New York area. But we will be up, and I believe that we are going to be able to witness a masterpiece, Omega and Jericho together. And I believe, Diana, and to our fans that are watching, that New Japan Pro Wrestling is going to break the record of attendance of the Wrestle Kingdoms events. I think they have done like 32,000. I think this one will probably reach sellout status of around 40,000 fans. So very, very eager. Following up also the Young Bucks. Young Bucks with Omega, with Cody Rhodes. We have just reported recently in Lucha Libre Online that they have sold over $10 million worth of T-shirts in like 4 months without the publicity machine of WWE. The
Bullet Club T-shirt.
Yeah, the Bullet Club T-shirt has sold like $10 million worth of the Bullet Club merchandise. So what does this mean? It means that WWE doesn't have the whole attention of the wrestling world, and people like the Young Bucks, people like obviously Omega and others are huge without the big machine of WWE. Let's go with more comments, Diana.
Gavin Crum says hello from Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina.
Carolina, beautiful place. We just returned. We were doing conferences in the Republic of Panama, and from the airport to the restaurants to other places, the fans were talking to us, and yes, they love wrestling, but they were not really in Panama. They were not really satisfied with the creative part. Panama, at one point, the top station, RPC Channel 4 in Panama, was buying from the pay-per-views to every show, and they no longer do that. And the fans they want WWE to do good. They want them to improve on their creative, and they just feel that they're not using the talent the right way. Let's go with more comments, Diana.
And Mike Marrow from New Jersey.
Jersey in the house.
I think we should see Brock versus the Dead Man one more time.
I'm telling you, many fans want that, but let's not forget the injuries on The Undertaker. And is it really necessary for The Undertaker to do another match? What else can a man that has done everything, an icon, a legend like The Undertaker? I mean, he's done so many masterpieces, I'm talking about great matches. He is The Undertaker. I don't think if you bring him back, he could do anything better. He's done it. When you do something perfect, leave it alone. Let him retire with his beautiful wife. And we just saw a picture recently. I showed Diana that they were in a country music concert, and look, he's enjoying life. And we will see him at the Raw 25th anniversary. God bless The Undertaker. Let's go with more comments.
Elvin El Chepa Rivera, Tangana from the Bronx.
The Bronx. This is hey, that's us. The Bronx is in the house. All right.
Mark Reynolds. Reynolds from Currituck, North Carolina.
North Carolina in the house.
Martinez Guadalupe says, drink it up, man. Jericho all the way.
Jericho.
Amal says that Roman just beat The Undertaker, and then he just lost to Samoa Joe. So,
Yeah, but it's the creative part. It's what makes it happen. You could have the best talent, and WWE has some of the best talent from AJ Styles. That when Jinder Mahal was interviewed by our buddies right here from Sportskeeda Wrestling, he was on a special interview by Sportskeeda. Jinder Mahal was talking about AJ Styles, and he said, Jinder Mahal said to Sportskeeda Wrestling that AJ Styles is the best. There is so much respect for AJ Styles that I just would love for WWE Creative to really let this tremendous wrestler shine for the benefit of our fans and the business.
Rodney White says that he was in Cleveland for Raw on Monday, and he says that he thought that Roman and Cesaro put a great match that night, but
Yes.
the show was a letdown compared to the build-up for Strowman and Kane. Matt Quackenbush says, need to see Brothers of Destruction before Taker and Kane retire.
Wow, and you know, we should have had that prior to the match in WrestleMania. I still claim that it was a horrible way to see the dead man go. And the Panda just talked about the Cesaro Roman Reigns match in Spanish in Lucha Libre Online. We commented about that I had previously stated, and I will repeat that statement, that I believe that within 1 year period, Cesaro should be the man to have the Intercontinental Championship and have a bigger push. I think Cesaro, it is the future of WWE. He has, not that he's not doing good with Sheamus as the bar, they do fantastic, but thinking future-wise, I think that Cesaro is the man 1 year from now, Intercontinental Championship, and look out, baby. I believe that 18 will be Cesaro's year.
Brock Krogstad says that Taker versus Sting, and Richard J. Pate says, what are your thoughts on broken Matt Hardy in WWE?
Well, I was very upset until the announcement of walking. For many of you fans that don't know, for over 2 years, I was the producer. I'm still the producer. We haven't been running lately because now WWE I was just smashing my company, Wrestling Superstar in South America. We're talking about broken or walking. WWE was not touring South America until the promoters of Wrestling Superstar and myself started creating events like Mysterio Mania with Rey Mysterio and Fight Forever with the Hardys, the Young Bucks, and we brought RBD. We brought some tremendous bouts, Chavo Guerrero, Tommy Dreamer. I mean, this was like big superstars from different companies, and we were selling out the capacity of the building in Teatro Caupolicán in Santiago de Chile, 6,000 fans, and big production, having all that. And then WWE started going back there and affecting us. And but one thing that I could honestly tell you is that we have the ability as producers and promoters of creating great shows. And Tommy Dreamer wrestling recently with his company, he's doing good. He just got a deal where he is presenting the House of Hardcore matches on special presentations. I'm so happy for all of that. The company that I'm working for right now, the Crash Lucha Libre, I did the play-by-play in Spanish for the Crash Lucha Libre. Rey Mysterio, it's the world champion, and we are negotiating to see if we sign the deal to be part of that production team and to do the TV. The Crash Lucha Libre has some of the most awesome matches. Recently, they had the Young Bucks too in Tijuana, Mexico, and having Rey Mysterio as the world champion. And if you have the opportunity to go into their Facebook page of the Crash Lucha Libre, check out Rey Mysterio's championship belt. He has on one side the face of Hijo del Perro Aguayo, who tragically died in the ring, and on the other side you have Eddie Guerrero as a tribute to these two legendary stars. And be on the lookout for the Crash Lucha Libre, obviously. Okay.
And Jason Molina says hi from Peru, says he hopes to see you at Imperio next year.
Yeah, we hope to. My friend, the president of Imperio Lucha Libre in Peru, I was part of their first big card that crowned Carlito Caribbean Cool as the world champion. My wife and I, we helped, and Wrestling Superstar, we helped book the Hardy Boys before they were signed to WWE in Imperio Lucha in Peru. So we have been part of some great productions, and we intend to do even bigger things in 2018. And here in Sportskeeda Wrestling, we're going to have the opportunity of showing you some highlights of this big event, starting with the one we're going to be doing February 24th. I will have some exclusive footage for Sportskeeda and Lucha Libre Online. So this is the place to be, Sportskeeda Wrestling, the powerhouse in Facebook of wrestling, and we're so happy to be part of this big team. Diana?
Billy Sherman says, and the power bomb KO hit Shinsuke with was an upset. I would have liked to see Nakamura win. Me too. You're not the only one.
Yes. My wife, the dangerous blonde Diana, was so upset, and upset because, as we understand, the seriousness of the storyline for this Sunday, the Daniel Bryan and Shane and their career in the line of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. We understand that, but we also know how important it is to have the right storylines for Nakamura. I think Nakamura is another of the top stars that is just sitting on the bench. It's like you have a world championship baseball team, and you have the guy that could hit the home run out of the park, obviously, and you just leave him in the chair. Nakamura says, hey, I'm here. I got all these fans that love what I'm doing. I got all these Japanese people with a lot of money that are my fans here in the United States and back in my country. And what the heck are you doing? And this is the way I express it. I think Nakamura could do wonders for WWE. There's so much talent.
Oh, Stephen Scott Williams says Cesaro should be a champion by now. The Swiss Superman should be the world champion by now. Also, Brenton Robertson, don't even get me going, says, what are your thoughts on Bray Wyatt?
Oh, I could choke myself too. I am glad that Bray Wyatt on the walking or broken storyline is showcasing. And I just hope, knowing Matt Hardy, I just hope if they have the creative power behind the storyline of walking, that if there is something happening with Bray Wyatt and Matt is in charge of that creative storyline, you're going to see that he's going to make Bray Wyatt look better than the WWE has done for Bray Wyatt. The worst thing that I have seen in recent years happen to a great talent, it's been the abusiveness of almost killing the character of the family of Bray Wyatt and Bray Wyatt. I think it was to have some of their members begin another gimmick when you already have one that works, and the fans light up their cellular phones all over the arena, and they love the Abigail story, and then I don't know where Abigail's story disappears, and I mean, you could have used a real person, a real character doing the Abigail story and reunite the Wyatt family. And I'm telling you, we do this weekly in Spanish. Besides this that you're watching right now, and to see fans from England, from India, and from the Spanish world, Spain, Mexico, South Central America, United States, English and Spanish, and to see fans furious, frustrated of knowing that they could have Bray Wyatt, you know, the right way, and also the frustration of the demon of Finn Balor not being the demon all the time. It amazes me that the #1 company in the world, the monster of sports entertainment, and to me, Vince McMahon, he is the genius. He is the brain in this industry, and that's why he's been so successful. Now that this monster has outgrown, I believe, everybody in WWE, it is so huge that I think they're having problems to deal with Raw, SmackDown, and now we have NXT on the U.S. network, and just announced that on January the Mixed Tag Challenge will start, and it will be 12 weeks on Facebook Live. So Facebook Live will be the home for 12 weeks of the Mixed Tag Challenge, and the reason behind that is that they are negotiating a new contract with NBC Universal, the parent company of USA Network, and the parent company, NBC Universal, they have not been really happy with the ratings of Raw and SmackDown, and Vince is so smart. He's already putting the pressure. He's conquering this Facebook. Like, Facebook will pay Vince McMahon and WWE good money, not outstanding money, but good money for the 12 weeks of WWE special presentation of the Mixed Tag Challenge. But at the same time, he's putting it out there to tell all the other media people, you know, it could be Netflix, could be all the other services besides Facebook, that if anything goes wrong with the contract negotiations of NBC Universal, then he has another platform to say, hey, if Facebook, you want to do my special programming, I'll sell it to you for this much money. And let me tell you, Facebook, it has the potential of competing money-wise with NBC Universal and Netflix too, and other digital media companies. So what we thought before, not us, because we have Javier Gonzalez and Lucha Libre Online, and obviously our partner here, Sportskeeda. We have been there before Vince thought of the Facebook Live deal, because we know this is the future. If we have the right programming, all you got to do is just have your smartphone or your computer, your desktop or whatever, and you tune in, and you will be able to select your programming. And this is what we have to make sure that we are on top of good programming. All right, Diana?
Billy Sherman says, listening to you, I've understood a lot about WWE, so thank you.
Well, we are here to answer your questions, and also to talk about not just WWE, of what's going on. Mexico City wrestling has Lucha Libre is the top. The culture thing, Consejo Mundial de Lucha, the promotion, the Lucha promotion, they have so much money, it's unreal. But yet they don't have the right creative storylines, even though they are the owners of the arenas in Mexico. AAA was doing fantastic for a long time. Something happened, and they have lost some of the top talent. They've gone away from other companies, especially for the crash Lucha Libre. WWE is no longer a powerhouse in Mexico, but there is a decline of good creative also in Mexico with AAA and Consejo Mundial de Lucha, which is Arena Mexico. We have recently seen better steps with Impact Wrestling, good signs that they are coming out of that big hole of just horrible ideas, and I believe that there will be some good shows coming up. Ring of Honor, I think that somehow they're not taking advantage of this big push of the Bullet Club. Somehow, I think that either they are trying to strike a deal with somebody like CM Punk, or something has happened, because it looks like they have slowed down. So we will keep reporting right here on Sportskeeda Wrestling. Another comment there, Diana?
Brenton Robertson, what's your take on Alberto Del Rio?
Alberto Del Rio, fantastic talent right now. After that explosive, when people love each other, it could be an explosive situation, especially Paige and him admitting that they're two hot-headed people, and they're no longer a couple. And I think this is good for Paige with WWE, and I think this is good for Alberto Del Rio with Impact Wrestling and with other businesses. Great talent, Alberto Del Rio. He will be one of our top stars on our show February 24th, Lucha Conquest 2. The saga continues at the Fire Frog Stadium in Kissimmee. February 24th, we'll have more information here. One more comment, Diana, then we'll be signing up.
Brenton Robertson wants you to take a Crash Lucha Libre to Australia. Martinez Guadalupe brings some big events to Seattle, Washington. And Thomas Ellsworth wants to know, is there any possibility that WWE would make a WrestleMania out of the USA? I
think it's about time. I believe that you need to do that when you are the powerhouse that WWE is. The problem with a lot of the markets, big markets, is the time zone. But there has to come a time where that is done, or at least a SummerSlam or one of the top pay-per-views, because the whole world has to feel the excitement of one of those gigantic pay-per-views. So we have reached our time here. Always the biggest news right here in Sportskeeda Wrestling. They are our partners. We love Sportskeeda Wrestling. And be on the lookout. We'll have more information on how we're going to do about that big show taking place in Wrestle Kingdom, how we'll do some English reporting for Sportskeeda and also in Spanish for Lucha Libre Online. My name is Hugo Savinovich. My wife is the dangerous blonde, Diana Savinovich. And this has been a special presentation from Lucha Libre Online for our friends in Sportskeeda Wrestling, the #1 place to go for your wrestling news. Tangana, and have a beautiful weekend. Take care. Not a beautiful week.